Hello photography fans, and welcome to another episode about classic cameras and classic photo gear. And you thought we're going to talk about normal cameras. Нет, ребята. We're going to talk about Soviet camera today. Today is a very special camera day. So get ready. Today we're discussing this FAD camera. FAD 2, or as we Russians say, FAD 2. So stay ready, and we're going to take a closer look at this very beautiful camera. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Soviets did not take over my show, and that was just a funny, at least I think it's funny, introduction to our today's guest. Today we're going to talk about Soviet camera. We're going to talk about FAD 2. And here it is in its full glory, in its beautiful leather case, as you can see. What is special about this camera, it came from Ukraine. I bought it a few weeks ago, and it is in immaculate condition. It was well taken care of, and the person who sold me the camera also had the shutter cleaned and rangefinder readjusted. So as you can see, it is a beautiful camera. What makes it even more special is the little inscription on top of the plate. Inscription is in Russian, and I'll use my great Russian reading ability to read it to you. Дорогому сыну Игорю в день рождения от папы и мамы. And the date is November 11th, 1959. So that would mean that in 1959, on November 11th, a person or guy named Igor was born, or he was celebrating his birthday, and his mom and his dad gave him this camera. How he parted with the camera is a history, is an unknown, and I don't know. I don't think the person that sold me the camera knows either, but it's cool to know that somebody actually owned it, and it wasn't just a display camera. Somebody must have used it. What I found out is that it was a common practice back then to give a person a camera for birthday or other occasions. Even some companies in the Soviet Union, they would give out cameras for their employee of the month or other for other reasons. Well, let's take a closer look at it. FAD is an acronym from a person's name. It stands for Felix Edmund Dzerzhinsky, and he was the founder of Cheka. It's a town in, I believe, the former Soviet Union. So you want to read on it if you want more info on the person. But he's well known, or he's known for hiring orphans and giving them training in different crafts. So that's a bit of history on the person. But a camera, it's a rangefinder camera, and which means that what you see is not exactly the image the lens sees, but a representation of it in your viewfinder. It has two windows here. One that you actually look through, and the other one is a rangefinder. So what it does is that the image that you see in the viewfinder has a little round portion of it, and those two images, there's a ghost image and a real image, those two images coincide together, that means the image is in focus. Here what I'm trying to show you guys is how the rangefinder viewfinder works. So as you can see, I'm looking at my window, and about in the middle of the finder you see a brighter spot, which is the rangefinder ghost image, and you can see that move around. So when it's aligned, like right now, picture is in focus. If it's not, like let's say right now, the bar is not aligned with a ghost image. There you go, you see that? They're moving in the right hand side of the circle. That's what it looks like. So everything works on this camera, and it works beautifully. Like I said, it had a CLA with clean lubricated adjustment, and it works flawlessly. So let me demonstrate a shutter sound. Beautiful. This is 1/100th of a second, and this camera has a limited shutter speed selection. It goes from B through 25 all the way to 1/500th of a second, and it's a horizontal travel shutter. It's not a vertical shutter. It's a cloth shutter in it, and I'll open it in a bit and I'll show you what it looks like inside. It does have a self timer, so you can crank it and use that. The lens is a screw mount lens, as you can see. The lens is a screw mount lens, as you can see. Comes right off. I believe it's 39mm Leica thread. You put it back. You put it back on. There you go. To focus the camera, you actually use this little tab here, and the way you hold it is like this, and you grab it with your index finger, and you turn it until two images come together, and then you know you're in perfect focus. There are two letters here. One is Russian S, Russian C, which is S, and then P. I think it's a P or a D. I don't know. I did take Russian many years ago. So one is advance, one is rewind. And what you do is, if you're if you're taking pictures and you're using it normally, you have it in P position, or this marker here. If you want to rewind the film, you have it in this marker right here. And one important thing about these Soviet cameras is you cannot change the shutter speed before the camera is cocked. Okay, so you have to cock the camera first, and then you can change the shutter speed. And that is done by simply lifting up the little knob here and selecting the desired shutter speed, let's say 1/50th. Now on the left hand side, the camera features a little lever here. That lever is a diopter for your viewfinder. Let's say you're wearing glasses and you want to adjust the viewfinder to match your glasses or to match your eyesight. You just simply move this lever back and forth until the image in the viewfinder appears sharp. Now to open the camera, you have two tabs on the bottom. One here, one here. You simply lift them up and you turn them one clockwise, one counterclockwise, and the whole back comes out. So unlike Zorky 3 or Zorky S, where you would have only the bottom plate come off, the whole back comes up. And you have an integrated take-up spool, so you don't have to worry about losing one, or you don't have to worry about buying one if you decide to buy the camera. Some Zorkys, actually all the Zorkys except for Zorky 4K, come without integrated take-up spool, and you have to put one on. So let's see, you can see the shutter curtain travel as I cock the camera, and then as I release the shutter. That's it. And you load the film standard way. You just put your new canister here and you thread it along the side the rails through on the sprocket take-up spool and then into the take-up spool. And then what you do is simply slide the back on, turn one knob counterclockwise, one knob clockwise, fold them over, and you're done. Okay, I already shot with this camera, and at the end of this video I'll be showing you some results. And I'm really thrilled about them because the pictures came out really sharp, and that means the rangefinder was adjusted properly, and the lens is pretty good lens, although it is prone to flare. And I noticed that if you try to shoot pointing towards the sun or in the general area of the sun, it will flare. But that's fine if you're just shooting away from it, or if you're just shooting where you do not include the sun disk, you should be fine. This camera features, actually you can change the lenses, but this camera came with an Industar 26M f2.8 50mm lens, and it's a very bright lens for what it is. They did produce these lenses for some Zorkies, but mainly for feds. To change the aperture, you actually have to go here and change it on the lens itself. And like I said, lens go from 2.8 to f22, and you just turn the front dial until the selected aperture is shown here, and it's aligned with a little red marker. To rewind the film, you simply turn the knob clockwise, and it will release the inner mechanisms, and then you can lift this knob here and then turn it until you rewind the whole film, and you're ready for the next roll. This camera does have a PC sync port. It's right here, and it does have what I think is just a reminder of what you're shooting, if you're shooting bulb, or if you and what ISO you're shooting at. You can just select that here, but it's just a reminder. It doesn't have a meter, so it does not affect anything. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope that Russian intro didn't scare you and you're still watching, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you're still watching. I'm going to change my overviews of the camera a little bit so that you can see more details of each camera, and that's why I'm using the setup you just saw with a blackboard and detailed view of the camera, so you don't see me because the camera is much better looking than me. But make sure you stay tuned for more videos. More videos are coming, and more camera reviews, or overviews are rather coming, and I'll be happy to share any knowledge I might have on these cameras. So if you have any comments that would like to leave for me, make sure you leave them under the video. And until next time, keep shooting film, because film is not dead.